In this video I will show you how I assembled a set of Patriot Roadster Weld-up headers for your hot rod, rat rod, street rod, or custom car. In this example I installed them on my 1929 Ford hot rod using a small block Chevy engine. Hi, I'm John from 1929FordHotRod.com. When I first decided to build a hot rod, I thought it would look really cool to have a hot rod that had an external exhaust system. I knew right off the bat anything I would buy pre-made would have to have many adjustments and modifications, so my quest began to look for a weld-up kit. I came across the kits produced by Patriot Exhaust. Now I had to figure out where to purchase them from. As it turned out, there's a little hot rod shop about 20 minutes from my home. I ordered them, and about a week later they arrived in a box. This is what it looked like once I got the box open and laid everything out. A real jigsaw puzzle. I discovered that an old milk crate was perfect for the initial assembly process. I found that while I was trying to assemble the pipes into the flange and keep everything together, things needed to be taped down and tie wrapped together. I needed to determine the distance from the exhaust ports to the outer edge of the frame. I C-clamped a small bar to the outer edge of the frame and then made a measurement from the bar to the exhaust ports. There's the old saying, measure twice, cut once. So just as a bit of an insurance policy, I added a couple extra inches to my measurement. I then cut all of the primary tubes and dry fitted the flange back to the header pipes. Before I took this apart to cut the tubes to size, I labeled everything with a Sharpie. Next to the flange, I labeled the pipes 2, 4, 6, 8, and by the collector I labeled the pipes that were on the inside, outside, top, and bottom. By doing this will make reassembly for my dry fitting on the engine a whole lot simpler. Using several wooden blocks of a variety of sizes, I managed to get the headers up onto the engine. This was a tricky process as everything is still loose and very wobbly and came apart a number of times, but I finally got it up and it all held together. I carefully shimmed the headers to the position that I thought would look good on the Roadster. You can see in this picture that the headers are approximately 2 inches away from the outer edge of the frame. I checked the look from all angles, from the front, from the side, from the back. Once I was happy with the position of the headers, I made a final measurement to bring the headers only a half an inch away from the frame. Making a mistake at this point will render the header kit useless to me. So, again, measure twice, cut once. I made my final cut on the primary tubes and mounted the headers back on the hot rod. Making sure the headers were in the position that I wanted, I then tack welded the primary tubes to the exhaust flanges. I made a number of changes to the hot rod. The engine was replaced. The front motor mount was removed and I went to a side motor mount. The frame was primed. The suspension was painted. Now it's time to position the collector and figure out a way to mount the side pipes and turnouts. In order to attach the side pipes to the output of the collector on the header, I decided to make a sleeve that would fit inside the 3.5 inch pipes. This sleeve was made from a piece of 3.5 inch pipe. I made several cuts along the length of the pipe on the metal cutting bandsaw so that I could reduce the diameter of the pipe so it would fit snugly inside the 3.5 inch tubing from the side pipe and the collector. On the collector, I also drilled several 1/4 inch holes around the diameter of the pipe. I will use these holes later to plug weld the sleeve to the collector. I then fitted the sleeve inside the 3.5 inch side pipe and made a couple of tack welds. Pulled the sleeve out, flipped it around, put it back in the side pipe, and put in the third spot weld. I then finished welding the entire seam. Then using the grinder fitted with a 36 grit aluminum oxide disc, I ground the weld clean. I then found some black water pipe. I cut it 1.5 inches long. Using a permanent marker, I divided the diameter into 3 equal parts. Using the metal cutting bandsaw, I cut the pipe into 3 equal pieces as shown. Using the bench vise, I compressed each of the 3 pieces that I just cut. What I'm trying to do here is get these pieces to have exactly the same shape as the sleeve that I made to fit inside my 3.5-inch pipe. Each of the 3 pieces will then be spaced evenly inside the sleeve that will go inside the collector and the side pipe. Then each piece is tack welded in place using the MIG welder. Later on, I will drill a hole into each one of these pieces that I just welded in. This will become part of the mounting system for my side pipes. I intend to use stainless steel cap screws to hold the side pipes in place rather than an unsightly clamp. I then inserted the sleeve inside the collector, making sure that the parts I just welded into the sleeve are facing towards the side pipe. To mount the turnout to the side pipe, I made another sleeve to fit inside the turnout and tack welded it. Now I fitted the turnout with the sleeve into the side pipe and welded around the diameter of the tubing. Adding the sleeve will provide a little extra support to the weld and make everything just a little wee bit stronger. I then fitted the side pipe with the turnout back onto the hot rod. Now I just need to decide on the type of support for the side pipes to the body. Here I have the headers finally completed and painted with high heat paint. This project cost me approximately $200 and a whole bunch of my time. Unfortunately, when I first started this project with the headers, the engine wasn't placed in the exact position that it is now. Matching the Corvette rims, which have a huge inward offset towards the frame to the Corvette suspension, I discovered that the tires just touch the front tubes on the headers. I could have easily solved the problem by adding in a 1-inch wheel spacer, but that would change the dynamics of the Corvette suspension, and I didn't want to do that. So I was left only with one other solution: to abandon these headers and go with another exhaust system. To solve my problem, I decided that I would now try another set of headers, only this time they will be Roadster style header with side pipes. For the time being, I've taken them off the hot rod, and to keep them off the floor, I mounted them up on the wall. They're starting to look like pretty good wall art, so I might just keep them there, but in the meantime, they're up for sale on Kijiji. This is a preview of the Roadster style headers with the side pipes that I've built for the 1929 Ford hot rod. So I will show you in another video the steps that I took to build this exhaust system. Feedback and comments are always welcome. Thanks for watching. Please visit my website at 1929fordhotrod.com.